Hey everybody, it's Veronica Morris, and today we're talking about a hot topic, and that is insurance. Now, it might not be a pretty topic, but whether you're a homeowner or not, you've probably been affected in some way, whether it's your car or other aspects of your life. In Washington State here, we have seen that homeowner rates have gone up over 20% over the last year. So we are going to be talking about mistakes to avoid when it comes to insurance, and it has to go with both buyers and sellers. So number one is I want to discuss that we are in an area that, we feel safer from fires, from natural disasters, but in parts of Washington, and especially our King County, we are seeing more and more areas become harder to insure. Even Issaquah, which is just a little bit from Seattle and Bellevue, we're seeing insurance companies drop out of there, which means that there's less companies, so that means they're going to increase their prices. So we're going to talk about one mistake for buyers, and that's not researching beforehand. What you don't want to do is you don't want to purchase a home and you think it's you love the area, maybe it's nice and wooded, and what you don't know is that the insurance costs are going to be heavy. So if you're not checking that before, the mistake to avoid is when you are in escrow. Now, let's say that you put an offer in a home and it's competitive and you waive all your contingencies, your financing, your appraisal, your inspection. Okay, great. But what people don't tell you is, you're not usually looking at insurance costs until your lender tells you to, which is, maybe a week or two down the road. Now, if you get an insurance quote a couple weeks into escrow and it is way more than you thought, or maybe it's a place like a heavily wooded area in Issaquah and there's not enough insurers out there, so then it's really skyrocketed, or you're getting pretty much special insurance. What if you can't afford the monthly payment anymore when it comes down to that? So one of my big mistakes I've been seeing is that these buyers, they end up getting into an escrow. They end up finding out that their costs are way more than they can afford. And then what if they have to back out and you lose your escrow, you lose your earnest money? That's definitely not what we want to see. And so my advice to you home buyers is that if you haven't been in the market for a while, and with each home, ask your insurance broker, hey, what's the cost for this right now, so that you can really prepare for your monthly budget. All right. So for sellers, and that also goes when you're selling your home. Right now, when you're selling your home, you don't want someone to fall out of escrow. You don't want to have to put your house back on the market and do that all over again. So my advice to you, and talk with your agent, is have your agent also make sure that the buyers that are making offers on your home, they almost have a pre-approval per se for the insurance, especially if you do live in a highly wooded area or a little bit closer east of Washington. I would definitely recommend, hey, I want a pre-approval for your financing, and I want a pre-approval that you've already gotten your insurance quote for this home. Okay. Now, sellers, one thing I do want to talk about really quick here is really be careful about your claims. I would not be making claims on anything that was less than, X amount. I would probably say 15, 20,000. Now, if it's a $10,000 budget, if something happens in the house and you can afford the $10K to fix it, I would highly recommend going that route than to put in a claim for it. And I know that's tough, but the insurance companies right now are that stays on that record for 5 years. So not only are you going to get a huge, huge increase that probably costs more than that $10K over the length of time, you also are kind of, if you sell your house, it's going to make it harder for the buyers to insure because that claim is going to be on there, and then they're going to have more difficulty essentially closing on the home like we just talked about. So I know those are big numbers. Of course, it's going to be what financially makes sense to you, but I know, talking to my insurance experts and seeing what's happening in the market, those little per se claims, obviously if the tree falls into your house, that's one thing, but really make sure that, hey, if I can't afford it, I would definitely just avoid claims right now. So I'm Veronica Morris. I have a lot of experts that are on, behind me, and that I can call anytime. And I really like to get deep into these insurance experts. So if you need someone to talk to that is an expert in this, reach out to me. I always have the contact for you.